big story in Britain today, ahead of the coronation next week of King Charles. Coronation insult as China to send architect of Hong Kong oppression as guest. What they're talking about is China is set to be represented at the coronation by Han Zheng, who's the Chinese vice president. It was earlier the man who crushed the huge democracy protests in Hong Kong, which used to be British ruled. Warning, I'm going to show some distressing footage. He did it by smashing protesters with brutal force and by jailing many pro-democracy activists, including a guest on the show a couple of times, newspaper owner Jimmy Lai, who is still in jail to this day for promoting democracy. So what should Britain do? Should it let China know that he can't come and the risk of diplomatic explosion, or let the butchers sit there?
Well, look, Andrew, my personal opinion is that absolutely this person should not come to the coronation. I mean, this is absolutely a troll by Xi Jinping. He is trolling the very idea of constitutional monarchy and democracy underneath that, and this very Western British tradition, by sending the poster boy for anti-democracy himself. I think it is an absolute travesty if this person attends the coronation. Absolutely. From a more objective perspective, other than my rage-filled one, my thinking as to why they'll either allow him to come or, given the fact China was even invited in the first place, is that the monarch excluding a nation like China from the coronation could be perceived as a political statement. And as we've all said many times, the monarch has to remain apolitical. That's my only thinking as to why they've chosen to invite China and why they might keep him there. But really, as I said, from my personal opinion, turf the guy. He does not deserve to be there.
Mind you, James, two things about that. That just shifts the onus to the British government, because I do think they probably had the final say on the guest list. Then it's up to them. I mean, do they really want this guy there? What this guy's done to their former colony in breach of its agreement with Britain. But the other point is the fact that it got leaked that he might be the Chinese person may be a way of trying to signal to China, avoid this, send someone else.
Yeah, and that would be a smart move if that's what's happened. It's a funny situation, Andrew, because on the one hand, like Daisy said, this seems to be a deliberate, provocative move from the Chinese designed to poke the Brits in the chest, almost as if, what are you going to do about it? But on the other hand, he's a member of the Chinese Communist Party. So what do you want? Do you want them to send the Chinese Communist Party member who does love democracy? I mean, that person doesn't exist. So I think there's two options here for the British government. Number one, they can send a message, and I think they should do this. They should say, look, that particular individual is not welcome. Send somebody else or don't attend at all. But the second option, and you might want to consider this one, Andrew, is they allow him to attend, but they sit him up the back next to Harry. In fact, why don't they get Harry to chaperone him for the entire day, and that way both of them receive a punishment? You
interest me strangely. I like the idea of sitting him at the back, but sitting next to Harry, what do you make of that, Daisy?
Oh, look, Harry really doesn't know his Arthur from his Martha. He's not sort of reputedly the smart royal, as we all know. So probably Harry would have no idea who he was sitting next to, even if someone, read it out to him. I mean, look, it'd be fair punishment for Harry, but he's so, devoid of any kind of, intellectual prevalence as we've seen. I really think it'd go straight over his head.
Anyway, look, it's the most interesting thing you can say about the coronation so far, I guess, apart from whether it's funny, the whole thing has been who's going to come. It was Meghan Markle, big issue, and now the guy who crushed democracy in Hong Kong, big issue. Not much excitement, James, about the coronation itself.
There's a lot of it's all the subplots that are the most exciting thing. The main story, a little bit boring, but the subplots, great intrigue and of great interest to the whole world.
Yep. There was once a film, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? And now Guess Who's Coming to the Coronation? Even better. Daisy Cousens, James McPherson, thank you so much to you both.